Hello everybody, this is Random taking over for MJ, Oni, and others for RDR this week. Before we get started, I want to just say, yes, I don't watch WWE anymore. I cashed in my chips and said, fuck this shit, I'm done. But since I'm such a nice guy and all, I said, yeah, sure, I'll cover it this week. I'm gonna be honest, I only watched highlights of SmackDown, so I'm really not gonna get into too much details with SmackDown. I'm only gonna just rant about what I saw with Raw. But before we get started with that, MJ has left me some notes, which I am going to read here, and I'm going to read the results for SmackDown in just a moment. We're going to begin with MJ907's notes, as he has written them, so they're not really my words, but... Recap from last week's Raw of the confrontation between Punk and Foley, and of Cena being prepared with a lead pipe, and Ryback fuming at what Punk did to Foley. Show begins with Punk and Heyman heading to the ring, accompanied by a chorus of boos. Okay. Punk calls Cena a coward for having a lead pipe and does what anyone would do to a man like Foley, kick him down like an animal, and the cult of personality goes off on a disrespect tangent, about how everyone is respected but him, and he names those that Mick would not disrespect, including Rock and Austin. And he tells people to screw themselves by saying that Cena vs Punk in Hell in a Cell will not take place. And then we segue to the AJ Heyman shtick from last week. Oh fuck, why is this going on? And then they go on to say that AJ should be fired as GM. And then the Dragon Zord appears, Tommy, you suck. And then Vicky announces she should be the Raw GM. And I'm getting a Steve Austin flashback as co-GM. AJ comes out to say that she's been placed on probation, and Brian apologizes for her behavior since he was the one who dumped her. After a long, tedious display of the champions in briefcase during being juvenile, we get the tag team champs versus Punk and Ziggler as the main event. Nearly 20 minutes before our first match? ? The match is as follows: Mysterio and Sin Cara versus Epico and Primo in the tag team tournament for #1 contendership. Not a bad tag team match, with Ray doing most of the work and nowhere near as many botches. Mysterio wins via splash and advances to the semis. Very good, high-paced match. Brodus Clay versus Antonio Cesaro. Very short but impactful match, with Cesaro doing the impossible and hitting the neutralizer on the Funkasaurus. Good match. Who would have thought that dumping Aksana would make him go places? Oh, they got done. Oh. AJ in the back with Caitlyn and AJ's coach observing her decision making. That was painful. Zack Ryder versus Miz. Very hard striking match with both combatants putting in a good performance. Miz made a turnaround, brief match, but entertaining. 3 matches in nearly 40 minutes. Okay, someone's definitely listening to RDR. Next up, World Championship debate hosted by Booker T between Big Show and Sheamus. This was so fucking painful to watch. Yeah, it was about as bad as the presidential debate. Oh! That was my stuff. Reminders of Show's 45-second loss and his BO. I wonder if SmackDown is as bad. Ryback versus Tensai. Ryback wins, that is all. Pointless segment in the back with Sandow and Rhodes kissing each other's asses. Yuck. Eve Torres versus Beth Phoenix. Beth was pissed because of being suspended at the time of SmackDown by Eve. She wanted to let her frustration out on the champion. Not a bad match, but Beth was played down way too much, especially almost being counted out. Eve wins via pinfall. Santino versus Slater. Comedic match that ended in a DQ. Only saving grace was JR's commentary. Glad to see him back. Up next, Sheamus versus Damien Sandow. Very mean physical match. And one that saw Sandow step up. He is getting better as a competitor, though it would be nice to see him use more wrestling moves as opposed to his aggressive striking. I think this is the first time in a while where the champion has been tested this much. And in retrospect, very needed for the challenge that awaits him, the Big Show. Sheamus wins via double bro kick on Rhodes Scholars. Rhodes Scholars? Really? Okay. In-ring segment for Jim Ross Appreciation Night. I find it a bit unnecessary for Ross to go backstage just to come back out again, but whatever. Things are going well until the proverbial buzzkill that has become CM Punk interrupted. That would have been likely a nice segment for Raw, the fans, and JR. And rinse and repeat as Punk goes off on another tangent about being disrespected. Yawn. His words, not mine. And I get the sense he's sending a message to Austin by saying 316 belongs to him. And Jim Ross and Punk in this play. And Jim Ross put Punk in his place by saying that if he can beat Cena in Hell in a Cell, he'll call him the best in the world. Just as JR was leaving because Punk bullied him, the human eating machine in Ryback makes his presence felt and sent Punk just about to shit himself. And then came down to stare down between the W Champion and Ryback. Alberto Del Rio versus Kofi Kingston. Not a bad match, but Kofi was downplayed in this. Alberto dominated. End of. Another segment in the back with AJ and her coach. This is getting worse by the minute. Thank you, MJ, for agreeing with me that AJ sucks. Haha. Main event time. Team Hell No versus CM Punk and Tommy Ziggler. Yes. AJ is the guest referee. Man, no, fuck you, MJ. I'm not reading that out. This was a great tag team match. Kane and Bryan performed excellently, and AJ was very competent as an official. Clearly, these are MJ's words and not mine. Real win situations for AJ was her rejecting Heyman and Dragonzord. Ziggler bails, and Team Hell No score a victory over the lone CM Punk, with Kane winning via chokeslam. Raw was for us an improvement this week. It gets a satisfactory 7. I feel like Eric Bischoff doing these, actually. But anyway, here is basically a condensed version of SmackDown this week. Promo involving Big Show and Sheamus talking about Hell in a Cell. Darren Young, Titus O'Neil pick up a win over R-Truth and Kofi Kingston. Ryback match, who fucking cares? Divas match, who cares? Wade Barrett squashes a local wrestler. Miz defeats Sheamus because Big Show got a DQ. David Otunga and Alberto Del Rio promo, who fucking cares? Kane and Daniel Bryan defeat Alberto Del Rio and David Otunga. Meh. Tensai defeated Big Show by a DQ because of Sheamus. And CM Punk beat Dolph Ziggler in the main event. That is your SmackDown this week. Now I'm going to close the show with basically a mini rant, since it's sort of what I'm good at. Hooray and so forth. As you all know, I stopped watching WWE a while ago. Raw 1000, I sat there and said, no, fuck you, I'm done, I cashed my chips in, and I've never really pay that much attention to it ever again. I mean, I know I kind of look over at MJ's shoulder now and then when he's watching it and think to myself, oh, seriously, they're doing this? But it's nice to see I'm really not missing anything that important. Let's see, with CM Punk, I'll start with CM Punk, okay. Right, the whole gimmick with him, you know, being the voice of the voiceless, and he's, like, standing up for people, and now he's kind of become a parody of that, of the things he hated. It's kind of predictable that they're doing that. It's just like, you sort of know it was going to end up like that. Like, oh, I'm going to fight for the people, and now he's turning saying, oh, fuck the people. Yeah, that's kind of stupid. I mean, that's probably what they wanted to do, because, like, oh, we've got to have, you know, CM Punk as a heel so the kids can love John Cena, and let me tell you something, WWE, it's a shit tactic, and it hasn't really been working, because, from what I understand, people are cheering for Dolph Ziggler, not fucking Cena. And, I mean, even though the charity that, you know, it's a part of, I can respect that. I'm going to say no bad words about that because it's a noble cause, but Cena dressing in pink now. I mean, it's just like, you're not going to rest until you've dressed in every fucking colour in the rainbow, aren't you, Cena? I guess The Rock was right. You are a Power Ranger. Or a Fruity Pebble. I think the Power Ranger joke's funnier, but that's just me. This whole thing with AJ, I mean, I know MJ, Oni, they're watching this right now. Hi, by the way. Keeping the seats warm for you, but I personally fucking hate AJ. Just, I don't take AJ seriously at all. I mean, she's the GM of Raw. Like, why do we bother having GMs on this show? When, you know, it doesn't take an ounce of brain power to figure out that, you know, the GMs don't actually run the show. The writers run the show, and the GM is nothing more than a puppet or a mouthpiece for the writers. And it's just, you know, it's a bit pointless. I mean, Booker T on SmackDown, I mean, that's kind of cool, but like, why does he need Eve Torres, like the most boring diva in the entire universe? Getting back to AJ here, I just don't take her seriously. I mean, that stupid goofy pop music, the suits, and then she's skipping down in the ring. It's just, and this whole thing of like her jobs coming into question, like, oh wow, I've never seen this storyline before, you know, Mick Foley, Stone Cold, Eric Bischoff, Stephanie McMahon, Teddy Long. You know, so they've done this stuff before, and I know what's gonna happen. You know, AJ's gonna fail whatever like thing the W board of directors are putting on her. She's gonna get replaced by maybe, I don't know, Paul Heyman, CM Punk, Vicky, or another stupid heel. Say what you want, but with Johnny Ace, it was kind of funny to hate him. I mean, yeah, he's fucking stupid and he didn't have a clue, but I kind of missed that hatred that Johnny Ace brought into the thing. It made it worth watching because you wanted to see how much this tit was going to fail even more. But the whole AJ, you know, screaming and psycho thing, I'm not buying it. I know people are going to say, oh, but AJ's awesome, she's this and that. Yeah, well, this is my show for a week, and, you know, we're going to say what I want to say. So I sat there watching a promo this week on Raw. Now, I know you really shouldn't take wrestling seriously. I mean, I ballet in leather pants after all. But I had to sit there and basically say to myself, right, okay, so we have a grown man who is the WWE champion. We have another man who is absolutely hilarious and says, Brock Lesnar! In a very funny way. We've got another guy who kind of looks like Lex Luger mixed with that guy from Rocky 4, I think it was. I'm whispering you. And he's basically with his mother, who's Hispanic, and screams, "Excuse me!" And you got two grown men, one who is apparently a goat face. Well, personally, if you ask me, he looks more like either a hobo or a guy who's into his Halo 3. And the other guy who is apparently from hell and is a monster, who both attend therapy and are screaming like little girls, "I am the tag team champions." Yeah, all that was missing from that segment was maybe Harry Hill and the Teletubbies. Just like, this is fucking stupid. And from what I understand about WWE, and you can check the numbers yourselves, that one Raw in particular, like a couple weeks ago, was the lowest Raw ratings ever. You know, people are turning this shit off, and I know exactly what the problem is. WWE is so invested in their segments, in their promos, their backstage promos, and all this other stupid shit that has nothing to do with wrestling. You know, when I want to watch, Turtles, for example, I want to see, Turtles fighting ninjas and whatnot. When I watch, FA Premier League, I want to see some football. Or if I want to watch, a political debate, I want to see some politics, not people talking about Big Bird. But when I want to watch wrestling, I want to see, believe it or not, wrestling. And WWE has really kind of lost sight of that. All it is now is gimmicks, promos, and all this other stupid shit. I mean, contract signings, debate. Do we really need to keep doing this stupid shit? That would have been funny during the 90s, but not today. I don't know, some marks of people go, correct me on what I'm saying, but this is just my feelings as a former fan, because like I said, I've stopped watching wrestling, and I don't know if it's consistent like this, or it's just an up and down sort of slope. Personally, I think that Johnny Ace... Yeah, I mean, it's good to see him go. I mean, he was kind of annoying, but I kind of miss that heat. I miss that hatred that Johnny Ace could bring in. Half the problem is when you get face general managers and face champions, I mean, it's fun, but you don't quite have that same kind of environment. When you got like a heel champion, I mean, for example, during Triple H's heel run back around 2000, that was a really good time to watch wrestling. It was so much hatred, so much, electricity from the fans, that made it enjoyable. But these days, you got face champions, face leaders and whatnot. It just doesn't feel the same for me. And again, I'm only speaking from my perspective here, because this is how I feel whenever I watch it. I mean, to be honest, the only time I ever really watch WWE now is for the pay-per-views, because, me and MJ just sit there, we make a bunch of jokes. I mean, you saw the reaction review on SummerSlam, for example. So, pretty much, this is going to be a very short episode of RDR, because, let's face it, it's just me speaking here, and you haven't got MJ and Shattuck back and forth with stupid memes that no one finds funny. Oh, come on, guys, it's true, just saying. I think I'm going to wrap this up by basically saying, yep, I'm not really missing anything important whatsoever. And that's going to do me for this week, guys. MJ and Oni will be back next week. If I did a very poor job, my apologies, everybody, because like I said, I don't really watch WWE full-time anymore. I'm kind of not in the game anymore, so if you like this, then cool. Might as well plug some of the stuff I do on this channel, if the video is short enough. You'll find all the stuff I do, Reaction Review UK, the condenses, some occasional rants, and if you check out my store, I have plenty of good comic book pages I work on there. So anyway, I'm going to wrap this up, everybody. This has been Random saying good night, and good luck.